we're supposed to be in this world and being professional, go, wait a second, you know what? I like to skip. I haven't skipped in years. It sounds like a goofy thing, and then I went out and skipped. You're like, okay, that's really crazy and really fun, and I missed that. We're turning on the music really loud and dance around my house with no clothes on. I didn't know.
This morning, that's not a child.
No, it was the 80 brother in my house watching.
You mean we're supposed to stop that?
That's right.
I always do it, I don't know.
Really? Here's some funny things I should go see on. Wow, okay.
Look at things differently here.
Really? Oh, that's right. I can go get pot
Yes, you can. You can.
Oh, we have to go do that.
Many people stop there the first thing off there.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
We were supposed to stop
Anywhere.
there, but we
Oh, I need something.
Literally anywhere.
Really? Oh, we
Yeah.
have to go do something edible. That could just be fun. I'm going to be with 2 kids
Oh,
for
be
5
careful.
days. Really?
Yeah.
How old are kids? Be careful.
Be careful.
Really?
Small,
Only
small
take
amount.
the recommended.
It's extremely strong.
You haven't really kind of gotten up with a good dose yet. It's pretty
Like,
regulated.
extra-
Well, actually, because I can't smoke because I have kind of wicked little lungs where my issue is. So I'm up for anything. I pick be creative. That's something I haven't done. Come on, I seriously can't go home from Colorado, and I just remember that we need to include Brad smiling.
It's like, oh
I
great.
already got it mapped out.
So I'm not
Like,
gonna-
I'm not taking her.
I'm not picking up my children till 11 o'clock tonight. We're gonna do ranch. I'm
Are they
gonna-
coming here too?
They are. My twins are coming. I haven't seen them in a couple days.
nice.
They-
How old are they, by the way?
They're 11. And they're
fantastic.
spending a lot of the summer with their dad, who's living at our house in California. We have our own, whatever, 23. Anybody here married?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Really? How long have you been married to?
18 years.
You still good?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Okay. Well, I'm on camera.
Married?
Yes.
How long?
25 years now.
Wow. How many?
Ups and downs, but yes.
But see, that's the, that's very fair, because I would be really pissed at you if you said no, blissful. Because at some point, nobody was really honest about how the whole marriage thing goes. And by the way, I no longer, at my age, for those of you younger, think that divorce is a failure. It's actually, I put a very nice time in, built whatever I did, and I'd like to change, because I don't drive the same car I did when I was 20 years ago either. Is that a bad thing? Now, if you're religious, yeah, I mean, if you're religious, you know, whatever, and you think I'm nuts. But overall, I don't think we do it right. And that's been a really interesting, eye-opening thing for me, is that we can still be friends, but I just want a new car. Or maybe no car, I don't know. I just don't want to drive the same old car, because it's starting to get snug. But I think that's, you know, and then you can go reinvent that marriage if that's what you choose to do too. And there's all kinds of things that people just don't, the Adlin of Happily Ever After is the only book I remember. They didn't say they had to do laundry or somebody farts in bed. They never said that. But I didn't know. You know, thank God Shrek came out.
Right.
Thank God she wasn't the princess. She was the fat chick. I'm like, you go grow the fat chick. Not because Disney lied to us. Okay, so this is my all day summer.
It's like they keep posting stuff on Facebook and different things saying, you know, the new movie Frozen.
Yeah.
Because she actually didn't choose him, and the fact that her sister said right to you, you don't marry somebody that you just met.
Right.
Like that, you know, is the first time that Disney's actually really put out
One of
the
the
truth.
biggest grocery movies of all time that actually told the truth.
Yeah.
I think it's great, and I think we've lied to each other long enough, and lied to ourselves, and we're trying to fit into molds, especially, you know, and I'm sure men and women, I speak to a lot of women, because I don't know what the molds are. I just don't like it, and I'm trying to make up my own, and then I have all these theories that I don't need to know. I actually focus a little more on women, because I sometimes find when we're in a room with men, we're not as honest, because it's, well, every room that I was in where somebody was molested, none of the molesters were women, okay? So there's a male and a female energy, and sometimes it's easier to be, not that I don't love my men, my whole weight loss thing was men and women, but it's interesting how we behave differently when we're in the same room. It's again, things that I'm learning. And then I put games in the back because I want you to carry this with you and find it fun and interesting. You want fun pictures with some pictures there. And again, what's your favorite movie? Why is your favorite character? Why did you create you to be the way you are, and could you change it? It's kind of a funky thing.
Could you or would you?
Well, I was 23 years ago, I changed my name. Now, people have to change their name because they get married, which I think is bizarre. All of a sudden, you're one identity, and then you choose how to do this thing, and the woman gets to do it.
She kept her name in my marriage. She kept her name, and they took mine on also. Very modern.
Well, very modern, and if you don't take the man's last name, it's confusing for the kids, you know, roll call in school and all that. So I understand the practical reason, but I also personally don't love the fact that I was a name, I was a person, and now I'm a different person. But you're not. But you didn't change. I have a problem with that. But that's not what happened for me. I was just dating the man that I was going to marry, and I had broken my knee and was living. It was terrible. My rehab was a year and a half, absolute crap. I hated knee rehab. And it's one reason I'm excited to do this and find people that I want to play with in the rehab world who are open and so. And then he had just lost an election, so he was kind of miserable. And my acting career went out the window and all the things that I was doing. So somebody said you should see an image consultant. I'm like, okay, whatever. And it was $75 for the hour. I didn't actually have $75. It's what I'm going to spend on a guy I don't know. But I got it together. I showed up at this man's door. I showed him all my pictures and whatever. He opens the door. He's a like a white-haired little black man living in what I thought was a hobbit house. And I'm looking down at him and I'm thinking, you're not gonna, yeah, image consultant, first of all, dude, really. And what are you gonna know about me? And so I went in with this, and then he looked at me, and I had white t-shirt and shorts on, no makeup. He says to me, don't ever leave the house without makeup on. You're not Julia Roberts. You're more like Sharon Stone. I get that you're a star, but always work. And I'm like, you little hobbit, you.
Let me step on you.
I was pissed, and so I go into his whatever, and I'm sitting there, and he goes and he proceeds to tell me all the things that are wrong with me, like not nice. Your makeup is too dark. Your eyeshadow is too dark. Here's the name of somebody you should go to get your makeup done. Your colors are wrong. You shouldn't wear black. You're in autumn. You don't know. Here's this person. I don't have any money. And I'm kind of in pain, and I'm listening, and I'm just going, oh my God. And then he says, and why do you wear those baggy clothes? You should be, here's a person who can help you with your clothes. I'm like, okay. And then he says to me, I don't like your name. And I'm like, dude, I don't like anything about you. He said, no, Francine, which was my name that my mom gave me, means a lot to my mother. And it's too old a name, Francine Forbes. Like, but Francine Forbes has starred in movies and soap operas, and she's a working actor, or she was a working actress. I don't like it. I'm like, okay. And again, can you go to an opportunity with an open enough mind? And I'm really trying to hang in the ear together. And he says, what's the name of your dog? What street did you grow up on? I'm like, Snoopy Arrow. Try again. And he said, what's your boyfriend or your husband? I said, I'm dating a guy. His last name is Riley. And he looks at me and says, that's it, Forbes Riley, now leave. I walk out the door, and it slams, and I'm like, really? And I had a piece of paper. And I go home to my boyfriend, who was a 6'6", former Notre Dame, literally 6'6", giant, All-American Notre Dame football player. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just like to spend $75 of my money. I have no idea what I got. And I'm like, this guy says that I should change my makeup. And he turns to me and says, well, you know, that red lipstick that you wear is not real pretty, and I think your eyes are too dark. Oh. He says that my hair is the wrong color and I should get it cut in color. He's like, well, it is kind of fluffy and dark. He says that the clothes, I shouldn't wear black. He's like, yeah, you wear black all the time. And he's like agreed with everything, and now I don't like him either. And then I said, well, smarty pants, he thinks I should take your name and be called Forbes Riley. And Tom turned to me at 26 years of age and said, that's exactly who you are.
I love that name.
That's
too.
cool.
So,
Oh,
it's
very
cool.
nice.
It sounded like a law firm. And
I like
so
it.
I pulled out my little bootstraps, and I don't know why he said what he said, but it was incredibly smart, and I did everything on the list. I went and found out what my colors are, what looks good with my skin type, gold versus silver, how my hair should be cut and colored, what kind of lipstick versus what I was doing, what kind of clothes look better on my body. And then I'm trying out this name thing, which is weird if you're going to change something about it. Change your name. People start calling you a different first name. It's weird. And I remember I went into this casting thing in this green asymmetrical kind of jacket with a big black belt, short skirt, makeup all done differently than I'd ever done it before, and I got the lead in the TV series. And they're like, what's your name? I'm like, Forbes Riley. I said, what? I said, it's Forbes Riley. I said, really cool name. To this day, every single day of my life, somebody comments on my name. Crazy that I mean, if you ask me to do it again, I don't even know if I could.
So your last name was Forbes?
My last name was Forbes growing up.
Okay.
And so, and it was an important name for my family because it wasn't even my family's name. My family in the 1940s was Jewish, and the last name was Feinstein. And my grandmother couldn't get my uncle into engineering school because he was Jewish. And she opened the phone book and says, Forbes, that's your new last name. My father changed his name legally. So that name actually meant something to me. Forbes was about my family going, we can make something of ourselves. And so that was kind of an interesting story.
Did you ever thank the Hobbit?
I did. Actually, his name is Hank Bearings. And I'll tell you what, I thanked him many times.
That's cool.
I called him, I used to call him like once a year, just going, dude, you changed my entire life. And again, I didn't tell him what I thought about it. So, but again, judging a book by a cover, sometimes it's not the greatest. You know, Serena Williams' coach probably doesn't play very good tennis, but she's a great coach. He was exactly the right guy for me, and I felt bad that well, first of all, I mean, I had no reason not to think all those things, because if you walk in and go, really? But I actually kind of think of him more like Yoda. Yoda does not look like a Jedi Master. He looks like a goofy little thing. To me, this was my Yoda.
Yeah.
I'm a total dork. My son's name is Riker, okay? He's from Star Trek.
Is what?
Riker. Like
My name too.
So that, by the way, would be a very famous photo, because that's Jacqueline, and that was my babies when I started the show that changed my whole entire life. So I sell a lot of these, and it comes with the DVD program. Actually, it's the other thing, because you can't reinforce this stuff enough. Just people listening to all the philosophies. So that's kind of what I want to do with this: just create the series that people go, okay, great. What else? I think it's pretty good. I mean, without going into a lot of the detail, I think you guys learned a lot. Y'all feel comfortable with Spin Gym? Any questions at all?
A lot to think about.
Okay, and I would love you. What I'd like you to do right now is, if you want to get down a little bit lower, and maybe you can do a little more straight on or handheld, or you can just pole held.
Well, we're at about 30 minutes left before I'd have to change batteries. And
Yeah, that's all we're gonna need.
Okay.
What I'd like, if you don't mind, is that one-on-one kind of conversation either with me, just about what you thought, what you're thinking about, just kind of wrapping up that. So I have. So if you get a nice good shot of Dr. Dan, and I'm going to sit over here actually. This is real helpful, because you can think all that you want, and then when you come up against other people, they don't know what thoughts. So are you good? By the way, do you want to put a lock on him?
I'm good. We're getting really good audio over here, so I'll just make sure I'm good.
No, it's not going to end up in it. It may end up in the video as extra bonus material. When we started this is what we concluded, or this was behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Cool. Again, it's not well lit. It's not broadcastable. It's not a lot of things, but it is what it is.
It's real.
Well, it is real, and that's part of what YouTube loves right now. We're all in the. Well, it's interesting. Why did are you rolling it off?
Yeah, we're
So
rolling.
why did you do? Why do you do what you do?
Well, personal injury, as well as my wife, kind of led me to the field of physical therapy. Had some hardships, and saw a lot of different disciplines do a lot of bad things for her, and therapy is the one that seemed to do the most. And I felt like I could get back to the community and to the public in general. And it made me fulfilled to help other people.
And when you first saw Spin Gym, what did you think?
Didn't think it was going to be very much use for anything therapy.
Use the word Spin Gym, since they're not going to see me in this.
Spin Gym didn't seem to have much use. I thought that it was limited, and it was going to be maybe just one or two exercise kind of piece of apparatus that might be used for a short term. And then as I started to play with it, I realized it had a lot of valid uses in the clinical field. A little more involved and a little more thought-provoking.